You and Cindy.
There's only three of us, Mark.
Yes, I know. Okay, so then I'll go ahead. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay with me.
Okay, I'm going to open the Board of Investments Audit Committee meeting. We have present member Youngkin and myself, member Barry. Right now, member Iverson is not in attendance, but we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead with business. I want to start out by asking if there's any public comment on any issues related to committee jurisdiction. Seeing none. Okay, I got a room full of guys here, so they're just harassing the hell out of me.
Okay.
So seeing none, we'll move on. I want to ask for the approval for the October 14th, 2025 committee meetings, unless there's any changes.
No changes. I'd move to approve.
Okay, and I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Before I move to the executive director comments, I just want to say that we have a number of decisions to make that on the behalf of the audit committee so that we can bring it to the full committee. That includes approval of the annual statutory compliance checklist, approval of the affirmation from our staff of the annual acceptance of the affirmation of the compliance of the audit committee charter, and then to reaffirm approval of the audit committee charter. And then we're also going to be asked to approve the draft 2025 annual report and the draft fiscal year 2025 financial statements. That's the enterprise statements and the UIP, Unified Investment Program statements. So that's what we're going to cover today. So
can I just move to approve all of the above right now? Wishful thinking.
I think we need to go through a few things.
Okay.
Okay, so are there any comments you want to make, Executive Director?
Just a quick one for the committee and the board. You have our down under tab 2, the policy 10.217 reauthorization of investment vendors. I'm going to change how we do this on a go forward basis. Rather than have it just go through once a year, we're going to add this to the statutory compliance checklist. So you will see as we add and subtract managers throughout the course of the year during Julie's report to the audit committee. That way, by the time we get to the end of the calendar year, you'll already have seen all of the managers that have been added and subtracted. So that's just the one quick change we'll make. Other than that, no other comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan. So we have the audit checklist. I'm going to ask Julie to give us an update on where we're at with our audit checklist. So Julie, I have a question for you. If we get things approved today, does that mean we're through with the audit checklist for fiscal year 25?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So go ahead and let's go through your update.
Thank you. So on the checklist, the first thing I'll talk about just real briefly is our financial statements and our audit status. For fiscal year 25, the Legislative Audit Division has started the work on their fieldwork, and they are near completion of that fieldwork on the financial statements for both the Unified Investment Program and the Enterprise or Municipal Funds statements. The draft Unified Investment Program and Enterprise financial statements will be presented later during this meeting, with the caveat that they are subject to change as part of the completion of the audit process. In addition, these statements are not to be made public until permission is provided by the Legislative Audit Division. The unaudited STIP financial statements, which are an excerpt of our Unified Investment Program statements, were posted to our website as unaudited for the local governments to use, and that was posted in October. Our annual report's going to be presented during this committee meeting. In regards to internal control, the staff who were not in attendance during the internal control presentation in October have now completed the review of that internal control presentation. As statutorily required during December 2025, the board meeting representatives from teachers and Impera will be providing their annual presentation to the Board of Investments. In addition, BOI is scheduled to present to Impera on December the 11th for our annual statutorily required presentation. And we did present to the teachers' retirement system on December the 5th. We will also have a report during this board meeting today on securities litigation. Any other questions on the checklist before I get into the statutory compliance checklist?
Just one question. Can you give us an update of where we're at with the legislative audit and when we're going to have the opinion date and that sort of thing?
So where we are right now is the Legislative Audit Division is finalizing their fieldwork. They have been on site. They are scheduled to be on site through next week. We are scheduled potentially to have an audit opinion in early January, but I have no indication or anything of what those opinions will be. But as of this date, there's been nothing to report.
Okay, so we're not expecting an opinion date until end of January.
The beginning of January.
Okay.
And they have asked the Legislative Audit Committee for permission for early release of the BOI audit.
Okay, because we need to have these published for users by the end of this year, correct?
So the annual report is required to be published by statute by December the 31st.
Okay.
Our financial statements are required to be used for EMA submission in regards to the guarantees that we provide to the Montana Facility Finance Authority.
Okay, when is that date? Any time or?
The end of January.
End of January, okay. Okay, but our financial statements are basically part of our annual report.
No, our financial statements are not part of our annual report.
They're just referenced.
They're just referenced.
Okay, so when we're doing these, our motions, we are making those motions subject to any findings from the legislative audit up until the opinion date, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and if they're fairly minor, any adjustments, any exceptions that they find, then we're okay with the board as a board to go with that. But if they are significant, what's the process then?
Typically what we do, Mark, is we work through, we haven't received any non-trivial communication from the auditors at this time.
Okay.
Or trivial communications. Trivial is more grammar, spelling, very minor changes. The non-trivial, we haven't received any of those communications. There could be times that we do make changes to the draft financial statements. We have been given latitude in the past to make those changes as we work through the completion of the audit and not to come back to the audit committee for approval.
Okay.
So, Mark, maybe to add on to that, if we have any non-trivial communications, Julie and I will be looping up with you and Jeff as the two respective chairs.
Okay.
And we'll attack it as a team. The last time we had one, I think, was in 2018. And the way that worked, I think Director Peterson was the chair of the audit committee at that point. We worked on the responses in collaboration with the committee and the board chair.
Okay. No indication so far that there's any exceptions to be noted, correct, Julie?
No, we
Everyone
have not
knock on
received.
wood.
We have not received any communication at this point. That doesn't mean there is not recommendations, but they have not been communicated as such yet. If we do have them.
Okay, good enough. Okay, go ahead and go over the annual statutory compliance checklist for us.
So within your packet, you will find the statutory compliance checklist. This is a checklist that I prepare every November, December meeting and present it to the audit committee. The annual statutory compliance checklist only addresses the statutory reporting requirements of BOI, which are contained within our annual report and unified investment program or enterprise financial statements. There are numerous other statutes that mention the Board of Investments. They are not contained within this checklist as presented, as they do not have a BOI reporting requirement. An example of a statute that would not be addressed on this statutory compliance checklist is where BOI shall invest the money for a particular program, and said program is allowed to keep the interest on those investments. Those types of statutes are very common, very frequent. This allows that program to create a STIP account and potentially a trust fund account. Everything has been completed within this annual statutory compliance checklist, except for the following 3 items. The annual report will be submitted to the governor and the legislator once it is finalized. The annual report will also be posted to our website prior to the December 31st deadline. And then the third thing that has not yet been completed is once the legislative audit reports are available, the link on BOI's web pages will be updated. And so we do need a decision to accept this annual statutory compliance checklist, with the understanding that staff will complete the 3 items as I just detailed.
Okay. Okay, so Cindy, you have any questions?
Just one. So, after we approve this, presumably we will, then will it go on the website right away?
The annual report, you mean?
Yeah. Subject to the updates, I mean, to be updated later. So does it go on as soon as it's approved?
What we'll likely do is wait until we get closer to the opinion date, so that if there are any changes that the LAD requests that we make in the financial statements that would matriculate over to the annual report, then we'd post it. But if we start getting communications like there's no non-trivial findings, then we'd post it right away. But typically we wait until we get an opinion or we get closer to the end of the year.
But
Okay.
but at least we need to post it by December 31st.
Statutorily, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, Cindy?
Yes.
Now, we do have other board members, and I know you've gone through this and reviewed the checklists and annual report and the financial statements just as thoroughly as I have. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to share, feel free to share with us. We will be reporting out to the full board meeting, but any other questions relative to the statutory compliance checklist?
Yeah.
Mark. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Mark, this is Maggie. So Julie, I have a question. So you were talking about all those things that weren't checked and which ones have to wait until we get the audit done. There's one that's estimate of the levels of activities for the next year. That's not checked, but that's part of the annual report. Why isn't that checked?
Maggie, I must have missed that one, so I will get that one checked.
Okay, I thought maybe
Because
there's something.
yeah, we do have that section in the annual report.
What page is that on, Peggy?
Page 22. It's Maggie, but it's page 22.
Oh, Maggie. Oh, I've been calling you Peggy for 2 years. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's an update to the checklist. Is that correct, Julie?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to make a motion or should I, Cindy?
Just a second. I'm just looking. hang on one second here. I would move to approve, subject to any changes that may be required after various audits, the checklist.
The annual statutory compliance checklist.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to find the title of it so I could get all that in there. And thank you for amending my motion.
Subject to the open items that Julie went through.
Yes.
Okay, I will second that. Any other questions? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so we'll move on. Okay, Julie, do you want to discuss the what you want us to do about acceptance of your staff affirmation of
Yeah,
compliance?
so within your packet, you will find a memo. This is the annual staff affirmation memo that is in your packet. There's also a copy of the audit charter within your packet. This memo states compliance with the audit committee charter has been fulfilled by your staff. And with this memo, staff is confirming the statutory requirement regarding the board's annual report. The board's financial statements are accurate and not misleading. Management's risk assessment and adherence to internal controls are in place, and no material weaknesses in controls have been revealed. And management is not aware of fraud or other illegal activity occurring, and controls are in place to limit such acts. And then there's the copy of the charter for your review that is required annually.
Okay. Okay, and this is not subject to any audit or anything like that. We can approve this as is, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we're moving to accept the staff's affirmation of compliance with the audit committee charter. And can we also include in that we are affirming the audit committee charter policy number 10.161? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing.
You also have member Iverson that has joined too, so you've got your full committee now.
Great, great. Welcome, Dwayne. Okay, so that's the motion that we need. You want to make that motion, Cindy?
Do you want me to restate it, or can I just say, I would move as you just so eloquently stated?
Okay, that's
to approve policy number 10.161 and
the staff's affirmation of compliance.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion, and do we have a second? I don't know, Dwayne, if you want a second, or I can do that. Okay, I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Seeing none. Okay, now we're going to move on to the draft fiscal year 2025 annual report. And I think, Louise, you're going to cover that for us?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. So as it was already discussed, this is once again, it's that time of year to post the board's annual report on December 31st as required by law. The board has prepared a draft of updated data, including brilliant colors, project photos, and legislative changes that occurred during fiscal year 2025. I want to thank the board members and staff who provided their valued input in pulling this report together, and welcome any questions as we go, of course, through the updates. In the interest of time, only the most significant changes will be highlighted, such as the new investment pool, the placement of housing assistance programs, and areas affected by the 2025 legislation. So to begin, I will share my screen, and we'll take a look at this report together. Okay, does everyone see that okay, I hope?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, we have the cover page. So I didn't really want to talk about who took it or why, but Dan wanted me to share. So without without sounding like I'm bragging, I was able to be a part of a hot air balloon rally. There were 70 balloons there, and I had the privilege of being a part of the ground crew and driving the support truck and also flying with the pilot. It was a really amazing experience, and I just wanted to share that. It's just the colors were amazing. So anyway, I wanted to share that with the annual report. So enough bragging. Off we go onto the next page here. And that is our table of contents. So in the table of contents, you're going to see in these highlighted areas, in commercial has been replaced. We replaced the in-state throughout the document to represent the program's focus towards the business sector. So just to be a little more clear on that. The next one is under the investment pools, the new real estate investment and services REIS pool was added. The board created this pool during the fiscal year to manage legislatively mandated real properties in the state and is located in further detail on page 19. So we have a new section down here. The Montana Housing Assistance Programs was shuffled down from its placement from under the operating funds to join the Montana Down Payment Assistance Program under the new section titled Economic Assistance Programs. Next is the board member page. This page, staff used artificial intelligence Perplexity to polish the board member and non-voting legislative liaison photos for crisp uniformity. I'm sure you'll agree it's been a nice upgrade to some of the pictures that we had. And of course, on page 3, we have updated our current staff changes, current titles, and credentials. So let's move on to the Unified Investment Program on page 4. In the first paragraph, we introduce the change beginning fiscal year 26 that the board operations will be as a restricted enterprise fund. This change from an
Are you busy?
fund
You got a sec.
Who's talking?
to an internal service fund to a restricted enterprise fund is part of the board's ongoing efforts to identify and implement governmental efficiencies that result in cost savings for the program participants. Also, you'll notice that in this, apologies, I still have my links very active. There you go. We were able to test the links and they work. Yay, us. Okay, so then we have a new column for the REIS pool. And here is the information in the comments, the real estate. The REIS pool was created during the fiscal year. So this is where we add that information into the total fund table there. So we're going to move through pensions. Only data has been updated there. The next significant page is on page 9 and 10 under trust funds. In these, so for this table here, we have removed a couple of things and we'll have a little more explanation on that in page 10. So in accordance with the 2025 legislature, House Bill 924, the Veterans Home Loan Mortgage Program, and the Multifamily Coal Trust Homes Program were transferred to the Montana Board of Housing's administration in June 26 of 2025. The two programs were removed from the table on page 9, and the change was noted here under this list of loans on 10. So let's move to page 11. This showcases a couple of projects the board's commercial loan programs participated in financing. That word there, kiyoyo, is pronounced kiayo, and that is actually the Blackfeet word for bear. So just in case you're curious about that word, that is the pronunciation for that. Moving on to page 12, this informs the reader of the new housing infrastructure revolving bond guarantee program created by the 2025 legislature, House Bill 505. Then it guides the reader to the new economic assistance programs section for further detail. Moving on to, we can move through here, and we have the next one is the new, on page 13, there were 5 new accounts added here. It was the KIO Powwow, Lubric Forest Carbon Offset Credits, Montana History and Civics Endowment, Montana State Library Trust, and NRDP Libby Settlement. All of these have been added to the accounts description available on the website if you want to know any more information on that. And of course, that description is also as a part of a link on to this report. So in case you are electronic, you can zip right to it. Okay, we can move past the insurance reserves. That was just data input there, updates there. And we're going to go into the operating funds on page 16. Page 16 operating fund table has 2 new line items, the debt and liability free, and also the general fund. The general fund line item tracks the portion to manage in the new real estate investment services, REIS pool, for legislative mandated real properties in the state. So let's go ahead and move on to page 19 of where that actually is at. Okay, so here's the new real estate investment services pool. It has its happy little spot all by itself, a nice new page that's showcasing the progress that is made on the state employee Pintler Meadows housing project located in Deer Lodge. You may recall last year this information was under a subsection labeled State of Montana Workforce Housing Fund that was located before the investment pools. But now that it's its own pool, it has gone under the investment pools section. So this will
Louise,
take us.
Quick
Yes,
question
ma'am.
about that one. I mean, if you wanted to modify that would be fine, but these units are for sale to the employees, right? I mean, they're not just, can you even rent them, or they're for sale, I thought, right?
No, they're renting. So we're renting these to the state employees.
Was there some part of our conversation somewhere, sometime that was discussed that they could purchase them?
The conversation around purchase was as sort of a retention tool. If the employee stays employed by the state for 5 years, they would get their rent money back, less expenses to operate or to pay the expenses associated with operating the facility to go as a down payment loan to go purchase a permanent home. So if you stay with the state for 5 years, you'd get some of your rent back to go purchase permanent housing.
But not one of these units.
Not in one of these units, correct?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that'll be a different project that they can.
That would be them going and finding a house and a plot of land or something else that they would be able to go by themselves.
Is it an
Okay.
interest free?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
I know we had discussion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
That program is still in place then, Dan?
Yes.
It's a different program.
We're 5 years out from having to deal with it. We have the last move-ins February 1st. So much like the DPALP money that has flowed back, it's on my to-do list for the subsequent fiscal year.
So I have a question on this REIS pool.
Mm-hmm.
You anticipate this pool growing?
By at least $26.5 million.
Oh, that's where the forensic unit that we're going to be talking about later will reside within our REIS pool?
Yes, any real estate that does not have a distributable income in excess of the bond pool, which is the measuring stick we use to see if we should have it as a trust fund investment versus a REIS investment. Anything less than the bond pool yield will go into REIS. Anything greater than the bond pool distributions will go into trust fund.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, Louise, moving on.
All right, thank you. Wonderful questions. Thank you. So moving on, we can go on and skip through to the enterprise fund. All this information here is just data updates, nothing, no big changes. And we can go to pages 24, and that, of course, is where the Intercap Loan Program highlights are. That page 24, we're just sharing the progress on the Greenfields Irrigation District project. You'll recall that they are doing a bypass there and adding a energy generating turbine to the system. So it's a pretty exciting project, and it's well on its way.
That's super cool.
Moving on to page 25. This is where we share the schools that have used the QZAB, the Qualified Zone Academy bonds, and the Qualified School Construction Bond programs, and the status of those. You can see here that with the QZABs, the Kalispell and the Anaconda schools are the only ones that are left, and those are maturing in 2028 and 2032 respectively. The Qualified School Construction Bond Program, only the Great Falls Public Schools were the ones that used that, and those are actually maturing in December 15th, so this month, coming here shortly. And with that, due to the changes in the tax law, both programs are no longer available and will be removed from the report as after the associated bonds are redeemed in full. So you will eventually not see this on your reports.
Once they're paid off.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
And moving on to our new section here, Economic Assistance Programs. This information is where it harbors the information for the Montana Housing Assistance Programs with the House Bill 505 increase in funds and the expansion of the program parameters. Part of that was the creation of two new programs. That's the MHIR, or otherwise known as the Housing Bond Guarantee, and the Resident-Owned Cooperative Multifamily Owned Cooperative, ROCMOC, loan programs, and topped off with representative photos of projects that are underway, and also a map to show the impact around the state. Moving on to page 28 is where the Montana Down Payment Assistance Program contribution to the economic activity across the state. We've updated there. And then page 29 is our statements that we are required to make by law. So just have a little fun with it as you read it. Just think of the fast-talking radio personnel that reads the legal disclosure at the end of the commercial.
Can you do that for us, Louise, please?
I don't talk that fast. I'm sorry.
Think of yourself as an air traffic controller, too.
Bless their hearts. I'm glad they do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for the discussion there, Louise, and thank you for giving us an overview, and nice work on the annual report. We appreciate that. Does any board member or Cindy, do you have any questions on the annual report?
No, just the one that we discussed.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm good.
Okay.
Nicely done. I like these things because they're written for people that are not, that can't do math. So.
Well, I try, but
Yeah.
So do we want to approve the draft annual financial report? Now, we would approve this pending any edits or any financial statement audit adjustments and that sort of thing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, do we want to approve the annual report, Cindy?
I would so move. I think it's.
Okay, subject to
Yes.
any pending edits or adjustments.
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 draft annual report. I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have moved and approved the annual annual report. Now we move on to the draft financial statements, the UIP and the enterprise fund statements. How do we want to cover those?
Well, I'm here, Mr. Chair. So
Okay,
if you don't mind.
yes, wouldn't mind at all, John. Go ahead.
All right,
So this is
perfect. Well,
John Carpenter, and you are?
I am the accounting bureau manager
Okay,
for
great,
the Board of Investments.
great.
So good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. In the interest of getting us back on schedule, I'm going to go through again. These are draft financial statements. Happy to answer questions, but I won't go through page by page, highlighting changes. You're welcome. So just want to start off by thanking the accounting staff at the board. It's a great team of professionals that prefer to remain behind the scenes, not one for the spotlight, but absolutely great team working very well together. And again, if you do things right every day, then at fiscal year end, it's really a pretty smooth process. So I just want to thank my staff for their diligence every day, and the teamwork that they have. So preparation of the financial statements really started last October. Once we wrapped the fiscal 24, we start in on the fiscal 25 statements, updating checklists, making changes, accounting for new pools, any questions that the auditors might have had, getting those up to date. The last week of June and the first week of July is kind of our busy season, if you will, just making sure the entries are made. And then once the state accounting system closes in July, then that's when we really start the financial statement process. We were happy to have the first draft delivered to Julie on September 9th this year, which is a best for the team. We then had a GASB consultant review in mid-September, and we had audit-ready statements on September 29th, which is ahead of the October 1st regulatory deadline. So we'll start with the enterprise statements. These are presented as a separate unit as required by the Municipal Finance Consolidation Act. The statements, there were no new GASB implementations this year. The biggest change is in the MD&A section. We tried to make it more engaging, more graphs, more pictures, and again, using the stuff that Louise is already preparing in the annual report, including that in. So that was definitely an improvement. The biggest change in the statements themselves was moving interest expense out of the operating expenses on the statement of cash flows. No impact to ending cash or net assets. This is described in note 1 on page 15, if you want to see where that's at. Really just a clarification from GASB, and so we made that change to, they kind of cleared it up and we went along with it.
So just
For the statements, total change in net position was 240,000, ending net assets of 72 million, and an ending net position of 5.8 million. These were provided to D of A on September 30th, which is 2 weeks ahead of their deadline. Their goal is to get the statewide ACFR presented in a timely manner, so we did our part as far as Department of Administration is concerned. Any questions on the enterprise statements?
So I have no questions. Any questions from you, Cindy?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So then we'll move on to the.
It's just Mark. Hey, Mark or John, really quick. Just maybe it was just on the PDF, but there was some. I had several like red lines through the report. I'm not sure if those were intentional or if they just need to be removed, but just so you're aware.
Yeah, we did notice that. You got a red line version of the statements. When we sent these to Department of Administration, those weren't in there. It was just, you got draft 5 instead of 5.1. So apologies for the confusion there, but there really is only one copy of those tables in there. So.
Well, I didn't notice those at all on my copy, so you're lucky, Jeff.
I noticed them, but I thought
Yeah.
it's a draft. It says it's a draft, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then for the Unified Investment Program, again, statutorily required. For the year, there were no new GASB implementations. We did the same thing with the MD&A, more pictures, more graphs, reducing boilerplate language. as I said yesterday, if we can tell our story by page 8, then I think we've done our job, and we can let Mark and Tim dig into the other 35 pages of it. But really, we can tell our story in the MD&A. That's the purpose of it, is to write it in common English so users of the financial statements can tell what we're up to. As Louise talked about, the biggest change was implementation of the Reese pool. And I think we've talked about that. Total change in net position for the program was 1.28 billion. Total assets of 31.1 billion and ending net position of 29.6 billion. So a great year, but you guys hear about performance throughout the year, so we're just rolling it up in accounting terms. Any questions on the UIP?
I don't have any questions. You have any questions, Cindy?
No.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
So we need to approve the draft fiscal year 25 financial statements, the enterprise statement, and the unified investment program statements, subject to any audit changes that might come up. Is that correct? Yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to make that motion, Cindy?
Yes, I'd move to approve the UIP statement and the enterprise statement, subject to any audit changes.
Okay, I will second that. Any further discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have done our approvals. We'll take these to the full board. Any other items to bring up at this time for the audit committee? Nothing? Okay.
Dan, just to confirm, which are we approving all 4 of these at the full board,
Yes, we are.
or just the annual report and financial statements? Okay, all 4.
We're going to request approval from the full board. That's what I've been requested to bring to the full board.
Yep, so all 4 of these will go to the full board.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right.
Thank
With
you.
that, I'll close the audit committee meeting. Thank you.